Hello, I am Catherine. Today I want to continue with my theme in many videos, End Time. I came to Jesus Christ in 1986, and some months later, I don't remember if it was in 86 or in 87. I had a dream. It was one of my first dreams. I saw that Russia will attack America through Alaska. So I was very surprised about the dream. I mean, I was a young woman of 30. I had no idea. I never thought about politics and this and that or Bible. I didn't yet know my Bible. And I was very surprised. And if I told people this dream, they laughed about me. And even before the war in the Ukraine began, people told me if I said war is coming with Russia, they will tell you, oh, you know, Russia is weak. They have only old weapons and this and that. And some years ago, 15 years ago, in 2008 or before 2008, I remember, I was in Washington, D.C. I can remember now, 2 weeks before Obama won the election. I found Americans who had the same dreams or more details, and I know since then that many people in America warn every day about the invasion from Russia and China, Cuba, and other countries, Mexico, etc. I mean, if you go to YouTube and you give the words Russian invasion of America, you will find the video of Henry Groover, the vision of Henry Groover, who was a man of God. He died 2 years ago or so. And many other people. It's funny, in 2008, I was also in Moscow. I remember because in 2008 was the Lakeland revival, not? This Todd Bentley with the tattoos from here to here, with the demonic tattoos. And I was in the International Church of Moscow. I visited a service, and the first pastor was an American, as I remember. The second pastor was a Russian, and he brought me with a car somewhere. I remember I was sitting in his car, and I told him, before I left, I told him war is coming. There will be war between Russia and the West. And he was angry with me, and he said, why are coming crazy people here and tell us such things? Today, he's still the pastor. Perhaps he remembers my words. And then one day, one Sunday or Saturday, I was in a meeting of Christians in a theater in a big place. Christians from different evangelical Pentecostal churches. It was so much singing and laughing and dancing and so much worldliness that I became so angry. Really, a holy anger of God came above me. And when they asked me to say something, I stood up. I went to the front. It was like a theater. I took the sword of God and I spoke so clear, so strong. I think they were shocked. And I told them, "Are you serious? What are you doing? All this dancing, this singing, I mean, it was too much. It's another thing to worship God, and it's another thing to dance like in the world." And I told them, war is coming, prepare. And then I left and never went back. So many people didn't understand, couldn't believe me. But I knew it's coming, and now it began, because we are in the last days. Another dream was another thing. One day I was walking in Moscow. I made 7 days prayer marches in 82 cities, capital cities in the world. One day in Moscow, I was near a high building and I felt pain. I felt something evil in my stomach. I knew it has to do with this building, but I didn't know what kind of building is that. When I came nearer, I asked somebody, "What is this building?" And he told me, I don't remember if it was the center of KGB, this, KGB, or if he said the Ministry of Affairs with other countries. How do you say that? Außen. Foreign Ministry, for Foreign Affairs or so. It was so much evil. I felt so much evil from this building coming out. So we will experience a lot of things we can't imagine. In 2015, I was in Laos. I slept in a hostel because of I was always not in hotels but in hostels because hotels are expensive. So I was tired and I asked God how long I have to do the work, how much time we still have. And then I felt in a sleep. I saw New York destroyed, other cities destroyed, and the voice of God said, when this happens, this catastrophe comes, you have 7 more years. And we know the world dictator will reign for 7 years. In 2020, I made a video, Civil War in America. If you go to my channel, Marked Jesu, and you give the words Civil War or America, and so you will find videos. I saw the Civil War in America. In 2016, I saw the atomic bomb in Europe. It was above me, and I live in Europe. And in 2021, some days before 2022, I saw masks for the atomic bomb, for the atom war. Some years ago, perhaps 7 years ago, in 2017 or later, it was Easter Sunday. And before I woke up, I said in a dream, if the people of God in the Ukraine don't repent, then Russia will take over the Ukraine. And this is what is happening now. There are Christians in the Ukraine. More of them are Orthodox on the paper, of course, Orthodox atheist, who goes to the church, light the candle and go out and don't know, don't care. There are evangelical and Pentecostal Christians in the Ukraine, like in Russia, like everywhere, but all these countries, Russia, in Belarus, in Ukraine, in Georgia, all these countries, they were, the Christianity was destroyed by the gospel from America, the prosperity gospel. Like Africa, like all the other countries, Christianity was destroyed in the world by the prosperity gospel from America. So when I was in Kiev, I visited churches, prosperity gospel, and many people, thousands, I heard somebody wrote somewhere, I read it, excuse me, some days ago, a whole church somewhere in the Ukraine, when the war began, left for America. You must imagine, instead to stay or to go to the west part of Ukraine, Ukraine is 15 times bigger than Switzerland. The Ukraine is 2 times bigger than Germany. So you can imagine, most of the people in the Ukraine don't see war. So there is no reason to go out of the country. There is plenty part of the Ukraine without war, or very few times something. But the whole church left to America when the war began now to 1.5 years ago. It's clear the Ukraine will be taken over, and not only the Ukraine. The mass media don't tell us the truth. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians, not only Russians, were killed as soldiers. And there are big problems in the Ukrainian army that many medias don't tell us. Why? Because so they have a reason to say, send more money, send more weapons, so the Ukraine can win. But they will not win. Now, somebody wrote under my video, in Greek, because I make videos in English, German, and Greek. So a person wrote, you spoke in your videos about Islam and this and that, but you didn't speak about the wars of America, of England, of the West. This is not true. I made a lot of videos, and I spoke a lot about the wars, about the evil things that Europe and America did to other countries. If you give the words Europe or America or war or apocalypse number 1 or number 17, 18, you will find the whole apocalypse. You will find in videos word, I explain word by word after word, all the apocalypse. I explain when the Roman Empire finished, was defeated, who took over the role of Rome? Europe. And Europe then made wars until the Second World War. Europe was Rome. After the Second World War, America took over the role of Rome, the role of Europe, and, of course, of Rome. And this is why America, until today, is the hammer of the world. And this is what the Bible says about mystery Babylon. And this is why America will be destroyed in 1 hour. Because America is mystery Babylon. She is the hammer of the world. She is the policeman of the world until today, but not soon will be stopped. Russia, China, but also Islam are the next powers. The point is, only the wars of the last years in Iraq, Syria, Libya, it's unbelievable how many innocent people were killed. And if you see Libya until today, a chaos. And Gaddafi, he told us, if you kill me, then a lot of refugees from Africa will come to you. But the point is, we know how much evil the West did. But the Islamic world, they see themselves always as the victims, as the goods, as they don't think like us, and they always blame the West. But do you know who colonialized a big part of the world for hundreds of years? Islam, Islamic countries. When Muhammad became the prophet of Islam and founded Islam, what he did and his caliphs, he had an army, they had armies, and they Islamized the world, North Africa, the countries of North Africa, Morocco, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, and were pagan countries with many Christians. The first Christians were in North Africa and in the Middle East. What happened? 600 years after Jesus AD, Muhammad and later his caliphs, they Islamized North Africa, whole Africa, and parts of Europe. Spain was under the colonialization of Islam, of the Arabic people, for 800 years. Portugal, my country, Greece, Albania, Kosovo, Croatia, Slovenia, until Vienna, Wien, until Budapest, Romania, Bulgaria. The Middle East was colonialized by the Osmanic power. Today it is Turkey. For 100 years now it is Turkey. Before it was the Osmanian Empire. But who speaks about the Arabic who colonialized countries? Nobody. Why? Because they don't allow that. So the Africans in Europe, in America, and our leftists, they always attack Europe and America, but they never attack Islam, Islamic countries, Arabic countries. The Arabs, for thousands of years, you find in the Bible, until today, they were the specialists in slave trade, as slave traders, until today. So what are you speaking? So when somebody speaks about the colonialization of Europe or the slavery of America, then he must first speak about the Arabic slave traders and about the colonialization of Islam, how they colonialized and took over for hundreds of years and made many people to slaves, the Arabic countries. And we speak about pirates. But who were these pirates? Arabic people who made slaves, European people. 1 million European people were slaves by the Arabic people. And much more is to say. So you see, nobody can condemn others, blame others. There is no country, there is no people who never did something evil. The Bible is world history. When you read the Bible, you see Adam and Eve. They rebelled against God. And what happened? The first murder. Cain killed his brother Abel. And from this point on, you see murder, war, slavery. And we know from the Bible, Abraham had to deliver his nephew Lot because there was a war between the kingdom of Sodom and Gomorrah and other kingdoms in the Middle East. The Middle East was always a place of war. So you know, the Egyptians empire with the pharaohs, what they did, wars against the South Africa, Eritrea, Ethiopia, etc., against the East countries, kingdoms, Babylonians, and so on. We see the Babylonians, what they did, wars. And we see the Persians, the Assyrians, North Iraq, the Persians, what they did, wars. We see the Greek Empire. The Greek Empire was Greece and the Middle East, the Arabic countries, the today Islamic countries. But in this time, there was no Islam. And always in all these wars, Israel had to suffer because it was occupied by all these empires. And this is why we have Arabic people in Israel, because always they were occupied, colonialized by Arabic countries. Every city, 1,000 years ago, every city was a kingdom. And what they did? They fight each other. They fought. We see Roman Empire. What was the Roman Empire? Europe plus North Africa and the Middle East. So we see always were wars. And before Europe became an empire, England, Spain, Portugal, and colonialized Africa or other countries, they were colonialized, many of them, from the Islamic countries, who tried to Islamize Europe. Today, we don't have war. They don't do that by war, they do that by refugees. So you see, always was war. So people say if there is a God, he should stop the war. There were always wars and will be more wars in the future. Our young people in Europe, America, in the West, they have a very romantic meaning, a romantic opinion from other countries, from Africa, Asia, South America. They think without the West, in Africa, in Asia, in South America, there will be always peace. Really? What did the people in Africa for thousands of years now, since Africa exists until today? Civil war after civil war, war after war, putsch after putsch. You see now in Niger, they put away the government, and another group took over. It's happening almost every year. Somewhere in Africa you have some civil wars, some wars, and before the last 100 years, what did the African tribes? They fought, one tribe the other. And there were cannibals and this and that. There were never peace in Africa. This is a romantic opinion of some leftist people, communistic people in the world, and our young people, they don't know history. They don't know the Bible. How they can know history? What did the Indios? We think about the Indios, the so romantic. Well, there were many tribes of them. What they did, they killed each other. And they made slaves. The same in Africa. Your own people took you as slaves. You killed people, or you took them as slaves. Who sold African people as slaves? Your kings, your own people. If you were poor and you wanted to make some money, you found some people to sell them as slaves. Because evil is in the heart of man, of human being, because he is a rebel against God. So slavery was from the beginning. If you read the Bible, the Arabic people were 5,000 years ago, they were famous for slavery. The brothers of Jacob, Israel, sold Joseph to the Arabic people, and they brought him a slave to Egypt. This is an old story, 4,000 years old, or 3,500 years old. What did the Asians? They had always wars until today. One tribe against the other. So you see, what says the Bible? The fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt, they do abominable deeds. There is none who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on the children of men to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. They have all turned aside. Together they have become corrupt. There is none who does good, not even one. God says not even one is good. All are corrupt. All are evil. And so the wars will continue. And some days ago we had in Switzerland our National Day, the foundation of Switzerland. But you know, we have today in every country, also here, people who try to question everything, to try to change the national hymn, to change this, to change that, to tell us all this is our history is mythology, didn't exist, and this and that. Why they do that, especially in the West? If you love your country in the West, you are an extremist. You are dangerous. If you love your national hymn, your national flag, your country, your history, you are dangerous. Why? Because they want to destroy the identity. You are not allowed to love your country because They want to make us globalists. What does it mean, the word globalist? Globalist means all the people one, all like, how do you say, siblings or something like that. All look the same, all speak the same, all think the same, like robots. So why? Because if you are like robot, all people, then you are better to control. They can control you better. So, dear people in Africa, some people blame the West and this and that, but you trust now in Russia, in China, in other powers. You will be very disappointed. You will be very disappointed. Why do you trust in people? Why don't you become adult, independent, and trust in the Almighty God? Because only Jesus Christ is the hope of the world. He's coming back to create everything new. This world is finished. It's going down. But before it goes down, all of us must become one. Absolute chaos must be here to bring the Antichrist, to bring the world dictator. Save your soul. You can save your country. You can save the world system. It will go down. It will be destroyed. And perhaps your country will be destroyed, even in Africa. Don't trust anybody. Yeah. Become finally adults, become finally independent. Save your soul. Goodbye, God bless you.